You ever get home from a shopping trip, look at something you bought, and just think, why did I get that? It happens, right? We make tons of these little choices every single day, but what's really going on in our heads? Well, let's pull back the curtain and look at the hidden forces that are secretly shaping what we buy.
For the companies out there, this isn't just some fun thought experiment. It's literally the billion-dollar question. I mean, think about it. Brands are spending fortunes, absolute fortunes, trying to create the next big thing, hoping that we'll pick their product off the shelf. But you know what? Most of the time, they fail. And sometimes they fail spectacularly.
And that right there, that's the question that absolutely keeps marketers up at night. I mean, they have all this data, right? All this research, teams of super smart people. So how is it that the marketplace is basically a graveyard for new products? What are they getting so wrong?
And look, we're not talking about some small-time startups here. We're talking about the biggest names in the game. You remember New Coke, right? Or Crystal Pepsi? And get this, Colgate, the toothpaste company, once tried to sell frozen kitchen entrees. Yeah, beef lasagna. These weren't just little oopsies, these were massive, epic fails from brands that really should have known better.
Okay, so the scale of this it's just mind-blowing. Some research suggests that the failure rate for new products is as high as 90%. Let that sink in. For every 10 new products you see on the shelf, 9 of them are probably going to be gone within a year. It's wild. And a big reason for this is that there's this huge difference between what we say we'll do in, a survey and what we actually do when we're in the store with our own money on the line.
So what's the secret sauce then? Well, it turns out that having a good product, that's just not enough. Not even close. The real key to success is understanding the consumer. You've got to crack the code of why people buy. And that's where this whole field called consumer behavior comes in. It's basically the science of figuring us out. All right, so to really get this, we've got to start from the inside and work our way out. Let's first take a look at what's going on inside our own heads, those psychological drivers. Think of them as the engine that's running the whole show, long before we even think about going to a store.
So it's pretty clear it's not just one thing pushing us to buy, right? Our behavior is actually more like this complex cocktail. You've got a little bit of psychology, a dash of social pressure, some cultural influence. It's all mixed together. And every one of these ingredients plays a part in the final decision. Okay, so let's zoom in on that first ingredient, the psychological stuff. This is the stuff happening inside our own minds. You can almost think of it as the operating system for our brain. It's our motivations, our beliefs, how we learn things. This is ground zero. It's where that first little spark of, I want that, really comes from. And at the heart of it all is motivation. It's that little push, that internal feeling, that need or want that gets you to do something. It could be as simple as, I'm hungry, or something more complex like, I want to be healthier. Whatever it is, motivation is the thing that kicks this whole process into gear. So how do we go from just being hungry to wanting, say, a specific brand of pizza? Well, a lot of it has to do with how we learn. And marketers are all over two big ideas here. First, there's classical conditioning. That's where they try to link their product to something you already have good feelings about, like using a popular happy song in their commercial. Then there's operant conditioning. This one's more direct. They reward you for buying. Think about loyalty cards or getting points. They're literally training you to choose them. Okay, so that's a quick look at what's going on inside our heads. But here's the thing. We don't make these choices in some kind of bubble. We're surrounded by all these external forces. The world around us is constantly, and I mean constantly, shaping what we like, what we want, and what we think is normal. And these outside influences are super powerful, and a lot of the time, we don't even notice them. We're talking about big things like the culture you were raised in, and smaller things like your immediate group of friends and family. Even your age and your job play a huge role in all of this. This quote really nails it. Culture is basically everything we learn from the society we're in. From day one, it's teaching us what's good, what's bad, what's cool, what's not. It's setting the rules for what's worth buying before we can even spell the word money. And social class? That creates these really clear patterns in how we shop. Someone from an upper-class background might be looking for exclusivity and premium quality. The middle class might be more focused on products that signal respectability, a nice home or reliable car. And for the lower classes, the main driver is often just getting the best value for their money. And you better believe marketers know this. They tailor their messages for each group. And then, of course, there's which generation you belong to. I mean, think about it. If you're Gen Z, you basically grew up with a smartphone in your hand, right? Your whole relationship with brands is different than, say, a millennial or someone from Gen X. Every generation has its own unique vibe, its own way of seeing the world, and that totally changes how we shop. So we've got the stuff going on inside our heads, and we've got the world shaping us from the outside. So the big question is, how do companies actually use all this? How do they turn all this theory into, actual sales? Let's take a look. Hey, remember we talked about operant conditioning, the whole reward thing? Well, here it is in the wild. That little punch card from your favorite coffee shop, your airline miles, that's it. It's a super simple idea. They reward you for coming back, which makes you, well, more likely to come back. It's a classic feedback loop, and man, is it effective. And what about that other one, classical conditioning? Well, that's all about association. The goal here is to get you to connect their product with something you already have good feelings about. It could be a huge blockbuster movie, a famous athlete, anything that gives you a positive vibe. The hope is that some of that good feeling will kind of rub off on their brand. And a perfect example of this, the McDonald's Happy Meal. When they put those little Minion toys from Despicable Me in there, they weren't just selling food anymore. Nope, they were selling a piece of the movie's fun and excitement. All of a sudden, for a kid, that Happy Meal becomes part of the whole movie experience. It's brilliant, really. But maybe the most powerful trick in the book is when companies appeal to our aspirations, to the person we want to be. Nike is the absolute master of this. Their Find Your Greatness campaign. It wasn't really aimed at pro athletes. It was aimed at the rest of us, at the athlete that's inside all of us. They're not just selling shoes. They're selling you a better version of yourself. And that is incredibly powerful. So, okay. After seeing all of this, all these forces, both inside and out, pushing and pulling on us, it kind of leads to a really big question, doesn't it? How much control do we actually have over our own choices? At the end of the day, it seems like every time we buy something, there's this invisible negotiation going on. It's a mix of our own internal wants and needs bumping up against all those outside pressures, our culture, our friends, and of course, all that marketing. So, no, you're not just a puppet on a string, but you're definitely not making decisions in a total vacuum either. And really, that's the whole point. Now that you've kind of seen how the magic trick works, you can start to spot these things in your own life. So here's a little challenge for you. The next time you're about to buy something, just take a second, pause, and ask yourself, what's really driving this decision? Is it me? Is it a habit? Or is it something else? You might be surprised by what you find.